Welcome. It is episode 16 of Powered 4.tv, Big Fight Weekly. We go around the world of combat sports faster than the acid tongue of Conor McGregor, Chris. How about that?
Acid tongue. He hasn't got an acid tongue.
Absolutely.
Pure filth, that lad. Pure filth.
I think we've got to go straight into it. Last night's fight, if you want to call it that, Floyd Mayweather against Logan Paul in an exhibition fight. We've spoken about this for many weeks now. You know my views on it, Chris. I want to start with you first on this one. Let's get straight into this. Your views of last night's fight.
All right. Okay. Well, I going through it all and going through the whole build up and doing the show with John, and you know what I mean. You're really sort of investing yourself in the fight. I learned a lot more about Logan Paul as well when I was doing this, and I was, getting to see he was an all right guy. I suppose I hated him a bit too much when I was, watching him with KSI. But regards to the fight, my notes here, mate, was in conclusion, it was like a bank robbery, but everyone allowed them to steal their money.
Seen less hugging at a school disco. I've seen less hugging at a school disco. And then Floyd saying about, he's a collegiate wrestler, what do you expect? But ridiculous. And whoever paid for that on pay-per-view last night needs to have a word with themselves.
Well, it's not even that. People who tried to pay for it are here in America on Showtime, couldn't even get into the stream. And you're thinking 50 quid here? So you're looking, what, $60, $70 over there? I wasn't shocked. You know what I mean? I had my little laugh with you, didn't I? And the laugh on the show with John last Friday, and the what ifs and stuff like that. And it went how I thought it would. I thought Logan did okay. He hung around. You know what I mean? I think he blew his load after that weird 20 combo strike at the end of the first round. It looked like some person coming at you who's drunk on a night out. You know what I mean? Sort of wangling his arms around like that. It was terrible, absolutely terrible. And this whole thing they were saying that Jake was, banned from ringside. I saw him; he was like right there by the ring. So that was a load of nonsense.
Two to one after round 3 in favour of his brother. It's like shutter.
He's called it by the side.
Ridiculous, Chris. Sorry, I cut in then.
No, it's fine. I can't have anything nice to say other than, I give my hats to Logan Paul to getting in there with Floyd Mayweather. He clearly was there for the money, wasn't he? There was no interest in him in actually trying to finish the fight. There wasn't. I don't know what you saw, but all I saw was just a piss around in your front room. Just put some gloves on, and me and you can, straight jab each other for 8 rounds if you want.
There's nothing at stake. It's an exhibition. Let's not skirt around it. That's what it was. There's nothing on the line, is there, as such, for it. There's no judges. I know we knew all this beforehand. The 34-pound, differential in weight as well. That wasn't really a factor, was it, Chris? But I'm sure we knew that wasn't going to be anyway.
I thought I'd bring up Brett's comment, and let's get Brett into the fray, because this is for Brett. This was Brett's event, wasn't it? So
Logan Paul is an inspiration to me and millions more. To lose to KSI, to come back and go 8 rounds with the best in boxing, he showed amazing heart and passion. He is the GOAT. Now let's have some respect. Brett, I've told you week in, week out, you're allowed your opinion. I understand you love the Pauls, and that's great. Me and you were just not on the same wavelength. Chris is a little bit more. He understands it all a bit more than me, I think, from a earnings standpoint. Chris has said about that from the day dot and what they bring and their social influencing and stuff like that. But I just can't. The best thing about last night, Mauro Ranallo on commentary. But that's a given. That's a given.
I liked Vidal Riley. He's a boxer as well. He trains with Floyd's side of things, and he does a lot of YouTube, but he's a lot of boxing side. He trained KSI and a few of the other UK YouTubers when they fought Jake Paul and Logan Paul in the very first fight there before. I enjoyed all that. I think the commentary was the best bit, because I think they didn't know what to really say. But I'm glad it's over, and I'm glad we can move on from it now. because I don't want to see Floyd Mayweather, even Logan Paul in a boxing ring now. Let Logan, if he wants to go and try MMA, have a go.
Which I can understand being an NCAA wrestler. I could kind of grasp that a little bit. As much as I don't like it, because you're going into pro sport. So I'll read his comment now. Brett Thomas again. I enjoyed it so much. I haven't been asleep yet, but we'll go to bed after this show. Cheers, Brett. Thanks, Chris.
Forward to you, mate.
Yeah, John and Chris. Chris, fantastic covering that on Friday in the length that you did. I couldn't have done that. But no, you did. You and John did fantastic on Friday. Props to you two. Ramel, all the way from the Philippines. Good morning. Thanks for staying up late over in the Philippines, Ramel. We appreciate you, mate. We really do. Rachel Cornell, again, regular viewer. Logan did so well. I think Jake might well have beat Floyd, but I don't know much about boxing. What do you think to that comment, Chris, as it pertains to Jake Paul?
But I said this on the show with John. I said, at the end of the day, it will bring new eyes, and for our ultras who, some of them might not watch boxing like yourself. As a purist, it does bring new eyes. You've still got to look at the positive spin on the actual event and the fighting. That you're bringing new eyes to the game, and hopefully you can keep hold of these new people, and that might invest themselves a bit longer into the sport.
Elsa Kano, I didn't agree with it, so you're on the same lines as me there, Elsa. But I think Logan may have earned my respect. Yeah, I can see that. To be fair, as much as it was a bit of a no-go, the fight, don't say much for boxing when Floyd can't take out a YouTuber who was beat by KSI. There was nothing on the line, was there? Yeah, it's not going on a record, so he's not going to be bothered. It's not going on a pro record, is it? Am I wrong,
No.
Chris? Am I ranting for the sake of it?
No, I completely get your point, and I went into it a bit different to you, because I did want to see Brett's side and the whole other side of the coin, instead of just being a purist and go, look, I don't like it. And I've said I don't agree with it, but I understood what was going on here. And I said in the show with John, and I said, I can see why Floyd's gone with it, because he can't make money in boxing now. These are the type of people he can make money with, and I can understand, the tunnel he's going in, and I can understand where he goes from here. I just don't want to see it again, but I know we will see it again, because we've got Jake Paul and Tyron Woodley coming up in August.
Some early figures, Chris. I know you've said about buy rates, they reckon it's going to be low, and then the streaming issues and stuff like that. But apparently, TMZ were reporting he was making a flat rate of 30 million, Floyd, but then they weren't sure if his short sponsor was another 30 million. They did say in the report, they're not sure. So it could be 60 just from that. And then he's got to wait for the buy rates to come in. And then Logan Paul was saying he was going to make $20 million out of it.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised by that.
So he's expecting to make a nine-figure sum, Mayweather, once the pay-per-view rates come in, but we shall soon see. Brett Thomas, powered for Logan Paul. Yeah, you do love your Pauls, mate, and that's fine. That's fine. I'll be from Chicago, Chris. Your fellow co-host on the Art of Partying. All right, Albie.
How you doing, Albert? Shall we shimmy on to something?
I think so.
Something a bit more real.
Before I lose it, let's get to the huge heavyweight bout main event in the UFC. We're now going into the MMA, and it was a win against Sakai with a first-round KO, a brutal knockout, Chris. And he did what you said he had to do off the back of being a bit tentative in his previous fight, didn't he?
I said to you when we were talking about the whole fight last week that I felt like against Garn he didn't put enough pressure on Garn, and I don't think he took enough risks. And in this fight, I thought he'd come in straight away. He took the centre of the octagon, didn't he? And he walked Sakai down quite wonderfully. And it was nice to see Rozenstruik get a bit of confidence back, because when he did strike, you could see Sakai was like, well, I don't know if I want this. And I was really impressed. This is good for him. And I'd like to see it go a bit longer, because I like Sakai. I don't think he's that bad of a fighter, but it's good to see Rozenstruik, get back on the bandwagon, get that confidence back. And I'll tell you who's next for him: Curtis Blades. That is what's next.
Woo!
It's not official. It's not official, but that's where I see it going.
He did well, Rozenstruik, holding the centre of the cage as well, didn't he? He wasn't getting backed up. You could see Sakai circling.
Yeah, he got caught.
I was waiting for him to uncork on him sooner, but he bided his time, didn't he, in that round? It was explosive. It was absolutely, brilliant for him. So yeah, Curtis Blades next. Then where does Sakai go off the back of this? Where would you place him now in the heavyweight rankings? Who's a good fight for him going forward, in your opinion?
I think you're going down the lines now. I think. I don't know where was he in the rankings? I can't remember. I did look at it.
He was ninth. I think he was ninth, wasn't he? Rozenstruik was sixth, and Sakai was ninth. That was.
I don't really know. I did look at the rankings before, and it's completely just gone off my top of my head. If we'd say he's ninth, then it's got to be someone probably out the top 10 now, isn't it? Because he's got to obviously fight for his place in the top 10 because he's just obviously coming off a loss. He'll get back on the train. I like Sakai. I think he's got a lot to offer, but it's just Rozenstruik needed to get back on that.
It just goes to show how strong the division is. Well, it does. It just goes to show, doesn't it? Because you can see he's a decent fighter.
It's getting to a point where I'm thinking, and I look at it and I'm thinking it's much better than it was. So we haven't just got one. Okay, we've got Ngannou, and they probably will ransack everybody, but we still have, we still got contenders coming through that's impressive. Where are we at now? Volkov, see, Andrei Volkov. He's in there, and you've got mine's gone blank. Derek Lewis, who's facing Ngannou. We've got Miocic coming back. Ciryl Gane's in the mix. John Jones.
It's crazy.
John Jones comes back.
The capabilities now you can have, it's just crazy. They're all killers. They're all killers in there, And on any given night, one of them can get the W.
They're more all round as well. Have you noticed for the years of watching heavyweights? It's not just you Frank Mir. And Frank Mir was just a BJJ guy, wasn't he? But they were all older guys back in the day, where now you're getting fresh young talent coming through. They're in their late 20s, early 30s, but I still think that's your prime anyway. But but I'm impressed, and I think him and Curtis Blades should be a good fight. And Curtis Blades obviously needs to get back on the winning trail as well. So, like I said to you last week, with John Jones not coming up until next year, it opens the division really, really far.
Absolutely. So we look forward to what will be happening in the heavyweight division. Here we are, one of the head honchos of Powerful TV. It's John Scott. The stakes should have been a tag team boxing fight, like we suggested, Chris. Paul versus Mayweather Senior and Junior.
Could you imagine that, really?
Oh,
Christ.
It put butts in the seats. I bet Senior would just love it. Someone true, he'll got to see Big Fight Weekly talk about pro wrestling. Oh, my God. Yeah,
I see that they're trying to jump in on us now. The invasion's back on it, isn't it?
That's it.
Right.
That's it. Absolutely. And then I think, Chris, we've got to talk about Mason Jones, our Welsh fighter. And I can't wait to get your thoughts on this. A no contest for an eye poke that was sustained to Alan Patrick. You reckon he gave up the ghost, didn't you?
Yeah, mate. I don't know what you tell me what you think first. I'd like to get your sort of your idea of it all.
And we're not being partial because he's Welsh. We're Welsh, obviously UK. But at the end of the day, his striking he was doing it. He did it on the feet. He was better. And then when he took him down as well. He took him down at everything he tried. He was very successful. It's just a damn shame there's an eye poke because he was going for the W there. He was well ahead, wasn't he? He was miles ahead of him. You reckon Alan Patrick's the easy option, don't you?
Because we've seen quite a lot of eye pokes, haven't we, in the last 6 months? Some of them have been quite bad. Blau Mohammed's was bad, and it was a fight-ending sort of eye poke. This one, you can see Mason Jones is trying to get to his shoulder. He moves his shoulder. It's gone in, hasn't it? But it's not gone into a point where you couldn't carry on. And I think Alan Patrick he knew he was losing that fight, and you could see that he just used that and thought, no, I'll save that for another day. And it frustrates me because Mason Jones looked incredible. He looked like everything I've seen him in Cage Warriors. He was in his groove. He looked precise. He looked like an absolute killer. And, for him now to have a loss and a draw in his first two fights, I can only think of what's going through his head. It's not acceptable for him because he's highly talented.
Do these two get back in together? Will that happen, or will they just put him in with somebody else now?
I think they move on. No, I move it on because
he was dominant. Yeah, you feel that he's got to go in with somebody else.
I think Alan Patrick was looking for a way out. That's how I saw it when the IPUC went in. He was looking for a way out. You know, Mason Jones was getting him in ground and pound and absolutely pelted him with ground and pound and did not know what to do. I mean, and it just frustrates me when, you know, you got fighters like that. And it's kind of like, well, if you don't want to fight, don't be here, and give people like Mason Jones a better fight that's going to give him the better fight instead of, you know, calling it a day because you're too scared to take the L. And it frustrates me like that, you know.
He's still got, you know, he's 26, Mason, as well, which is at a fantastic age. He's had that basis in Cage Warriors, obviously. So we look forward to see where he goes in the lightweight division. Chris, just before we move on to previewing 263, okay. What was the official thing with Tom Breeze? Did the doctor come in to stop that fight? Because we previewed it, obviously the fight didn't happen. What was the latest that you heard? The most
all I got was from that night was it was a medical issue. So it was in backstage. They haven't announced anything from forwards of what I've read today that what an issue was. But he looked fine. Everything in the weigh-ins, you know, I think apparently so was okay prior to the fight, and then with a medical issue happened. But they haven't obviously come out and said what it is yet. But the problem is, you know, Tom Breeze has been off for quite a while, a few times with injuries. So hopefully this is just a small minor one.
Measure. Absolutely.
We can get him back in.
So we wish all the best to Tom Breeze. I've obviously not stated what the medical issue was, but another UK fighter who's got, chances of having a decent, very good career in the UFC. And now we move on to UFC 263 and the main event. They come together again to fight for the second time. It's the middleweight kingpin, Israel Adesanya, taking on Marvin Vettori. Chris, straight to you with this one.
Well, if I'm honest with you now, right, so I wrote a big, massive flipping sketch of this today, right? So the first fight, you've watched it. It was a split decision. It was very close, but Adesanya won the fight. I didn't see it as a split decision in their first fight. I thought Adesanya maybe lost one or two rounds, but I thought the first two and then maybe the last one, maybe the last two as well, actually. I thought he was in complete control. In this one, I look at it now and I think, I know Adesanya's lost to Lambohovic, but Lambohovic is like heavyweight. Lambohovic, he's a Muay Thai world champion all over Europe. So, he's got a good striking background. And I don't want people to think, because he's lost to Blachowicz now, Adesanya's not going to be the same person. I tell you this now, and I watched the countdown, and I've been watching more videos this afternoon. I think Adesanya's going to come in all hell's blazing in this, because I think Vettori's going to look at this and think, oh wait, hold on. Well, if Blachowicz can out wrestle him and outstrike him, maybe I can. I could just see the mindset, You look at the dominance against Kevin Holland with Vettori, but I just can't see it. And it's that reach. It's that reach. He's got an 80-inch to a 74-inch of Vettori. And we know how good his striking is, Adesanya, the angles he finds. I struggle to see Vettori taking him down as much as he's been dominant on the ground and with grappling, and he can smother you. He's coming up against one of the best fighters, pound for pound, and I just can't see. It's Adesanya. I think, as you said, with a devastating win, he's going to prove a point after the loss to Jan at light heavy. Yeah, I think so, and I think he would have learned quite a lot from Jan Blachowicz fight. Okay, his take-down defense has got to be better. But, he did go up a weight, and I don't think he did it properly. You're all looking like, again, going back to John Jones, but John Jones is doing it properly, and you can see the benefits of what he's doing. I think Adesanya jumped up at the chance without working his body up to 205 from 185. I think that might be his downfall. Or it could be the case that, people on 205 have got the same sort of style reach, so he hasn't got that advantage over people he has at 185, where they're all quite smaller than him, and he does hold the reach. I just see it as now, in my mind, is Vettori's going to push. Vettori might win a round. I've got no doubt he might not. He might. But what I see is Vettori's going to force the takedown. I don't know if you've watched Vettori. He's not like an ordinary wrestler or grappler when it comes to taking someone down. He puts a lot of effort into it. So if you look at what Adesanya could do here, is make him work, put him up against the cage.
Tiring.
Yeah.
Tire him out. Is that where you're going with that? Yeah. Also, Izzy's striking accuracy in the UFC is colossal. 49% striking accuracy he's got, and that's just in the UFC alone. So I can't see it being anything other than an Adesanya victory. I'm sure that'll be that'll be unanimous with the fight fans.
I'm not going to knock Vettori. I personally
no, he's done well. He has done well. He's beaten Hermanson. He's beaten Kevin Holland. He has beaten guys, but I just think this is elite, isn't it? We term it elite. We term it elite a lot of the time.
I still think Adesanya is head and shoulders above everybody else. I think the only person that comes close to him is Whittaker. And it's a shame that we haven't got this fight this time around. So obviously Vettori's jumped in, and Vettori does warrant it, and good luck to him. I just don't see Adesanya losing this. I think he's going to come in, make a big splash, and I think hopefully he'll get him in Whittaker before the end of the year, and then maybe he can go focus back up at 205.
We look forward to this one, the main event on Saturday, Sunday morning for us in the UK. And moving on, Leon Edwards is back in the cage, our UK fighter. There's a lot of people touting this guy at welterweight, and he takes on a legend of the sport, Nate Diaz, and in what will be Leon Edwards' biggest payday. They were saying about title shots and stuff like that, Chris. He could be fighting somebody else, but surely it's a big. He couldn't turn it down. It's the money. It's the money, isn't it? More so than anything else in this fight.
Right. Well, I'll show you and the fans so they want. I wrote quite a lot regards to this fight.
You better tell us what you've written.
Yeah, that's fine. Well, I said here on this part here, right, and I've gone right. I'm going straight to the point here, and my straight to the point is, well, yeah, I put it here. He's going to beat Nate Diaz, and I'm going to tell you why. So I'm going to look down because I've got to read this because I've wrote a load of crap. So don't think I'm ignoring you now, yeah. So basically, I've got it down to 1 to 5. What I put is, this is the first time Nate Diaz has fought a true welterweight in Leon Edwards. And the last time he fought a true welterweight, can you tell me when the last time he did? Could you?
I don't know off the top, because Conor wasn't a true welterweight.
No,
so we're going to be going back. We're going to be going back quite a way. I can't off the top of my head think who it was.
Yeah, okay. I'll give you the answer. It was Roy McDonald, April the 30th, 2011. That was the last time he fought a true 170.
Rory was building, he was plotting his course at that point in his career, wasn't he? He was trying to go to the top. So that was a big fight, and as you say, because he's not natural. So yeah, sorry. No. About Rory McDonald, but Rory was starting to get on the upward curve there at that point.
Yeah, and he threw him around like a rag doll. Yeah. But this is significant to the fight because I looked at every fight since Rory McDonald, right? It's obviously he fought at lightweight. He fought Benson Henson for the title, didn't he? But everyone else then has either come up from lightweight to welterweight. So your Conor McGregor's, your Jorge Masvidal's, obviously Masvidal's more the mainstay at welterweight now. But he hasn't fought a true welterweight. And I think it's a big difference when you're facing someone in the mold of Leon Edwards, who's powerful, fast. He's got fantastic head kicks. His elbows off the clinch are absolutely dirty. It's a lot of things that troubles Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz, okay, he's got great cardio. His combination in his boxing is slick. But when you're facing someone who's, on the rise and who's, actually, a true welterweight and is strong, and I mean this now because welterweights are strong. There's not a 155 coming up, and I think it makes a complete difference. And I think leg kicks as well, because Diaz brothers struggle with leg kicks.
Why has Diaz took this fight, being that he is a natural 155er, and Leon Edwards has done very well. He's amassing a very good record. Why is he taking the fight in your mind? With it being that he's not well known at welter, and when he's gone up to welter, he's found it tough.
I don't know, because you look at Nate Diaz and his body frame for me does look more 170. But then I'm reading today that he's on a vegan diet, and I'm like, I don't know how that works as fighters, because we're used to fighters eating your proteins, isn't it, and stuff like that. I don't know if that works well for him, because he hasn't looked that great since I think it was Jorge Masvidal he started as vegan. They switched from meat to vegan. and he didn't look terribly. Well, terribly. He didn't look terribly good against Masvidal, did he? Because Masvidal smacked him around the place.
His face was, it wasn't good. It was one-way traffic, man.
And I also didn't realise this. Do you know the last time Nate Diaz subbed a fighter that wasn't Conor McGregor? Jim Miller, May the 5th, 2012. And now things start working in my head here, and I'm thinking, listen, I've got all respect for Nate Diaz. I think, he's, as he says, he's a Stockton gangster, like his brother Nick. He's an absolute banger of fighter. I love watching Nate Diaz because he comes to fight. But I just think what Leon Edwards can do to him is something that he can't do back. I think Leon Edwards will take Nate Diaz down and beat him up on the ground. I reckon he could beat him up a ground and pound. So far I've gone, and you might disagree, but I've gone for Leon Edwards, 3rd or 4th round TKO. And that's hey, you're going round specific. Don't forget, we've got your betting tips coming later. Yeah.
Don't forget that the viewers will enjoy that. But yeah, I think it'll be a good one. It'll be a good one on the Saturday, Sunday for us in the UK. And moving on, we're going to another title fight at Flyweight, and it's another rematch. Can you do the comments?
I'm here. No, don't worry. Don't you read that slide. We're here.
All right. Okay. Right. Okay. It's fine. Yeah. So yes, Figueiredo versus Moreno 2, Chris, which was a draw in the first fight, and the striking was 137 to 132 in favour of Figueiredo, but the takedowns were 2-4 in Moreno's favour, and that was in this past December. Figueiredo has looked incredible in more recent fights, but the last fight was these two, wasn't it, in December, which was a draw. Where are we going with this one, Chris? What's you thinking?
Did you know as well Figueiredo had food poisoning the night before the fight?
Well, let's hope he doesn't have it.
No, well, yeah.
To the fight this year, we might see a total different performance. I didn't know that though. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that till today when I was researching the fight. Apparently, he had it quite bad before the fight, so that might have obviously stopped him at his full potential. But don't forget, when they first fought, they both fought 3 weeks after. I think it was 3 weeks. Almost 3 weeks after they fought on the same card against different opponents. So when Figueiredo won the title, Moreno was on the same card. So it was a quick turnaround from them both. I love the first fight. I thought that was better than Joanna Jędrzejczyk versus Weili Yang. That's a big shout, and people might hate me for that. But I thought that fight was much better. That fight should have been fight of the year last year. It was absolutely brilliant.
So God knows what we're going to get Sunday night or Sunday morning. Sorry, should I say? I feel fully fit, not sick.
I feel like it'll be the same sort of fight. I feel like it's going to go the same way, but I think Figueiredo is going to get the finish in this one. I like Figueiredo.
Two bold predictions there. You're going for stoppages, which is, I love it. No, that's cool, man. That's cool.
Yeah, I just think, like I said, the first fight was absolutely amazing. If you haven't watched it, go on YouTube and look for Figueiredo versus Moreno. It was a really good fight.
Absolutely. So it is chalked UFC 263. Chris, what other fights have we got on the card as well, just before we go to break?
Well, we have Darren Stewart and I can't remember what was his name. The person he drew with because he took a knee and then did Alan Patrick because he was losing a fight and couldn't carry on.
We covered that.
Yeah, but
Eric Anders.
The rematching on this card. We've got Joanne Calderwood's fighting on this card. We've got two Scottish people actually. The whole card.
Joanne Calderwood's on a tear at the moment as well, isn't she? She's got a good record. She's done very well, hasn't she? To be fair,
I'm really impressed with Joanne Calderwood. The only problem with Joanne Calderwood is the lapse in concentration when she's in a submission. I don't know if you've noticed that, but I think every time she gets caught on the ground or when she's in guard or she's trying to stack an opponent, she always gets caught in either a guillotine or an armbar, and she was always that one fight closer facing Shevchenko, which I don't want to be horrible, but that fight's not for her. Shevchenko's a beast. But good luck to her. Good luck to all of them, actually.
Absolutely. What a card that is. Looking forward to that this weekend. For BT Sport with us, ESPN over in the USA. And now we are going to go to break and we're going to see what Powered4.tv have got on offer on demand. Check it out.
I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to enjoy Jesse's survive.
The fantastic PW4U, Pro Wrestling for You, and now all events and the back catalogue from PW4U are available now on demand on Powered4.tv. Sign up today. It's amazing. You get so much stuff for your money. Absolutely fantastic from John and Rich. Carnage Pay. I can't agree now. It's an every box network expert, saying Floyd's over the hill. He's eight rounds. 8 rounds was nothing to him last night. I'm not being funny. Even at 44 and being out the ring so long. Honest beyond reasonable. Logan was really good. He showed desire. I'm not going to knock him for that, but it just wasn't the spectacle, was it?
No,
no. At the end of the day, let's not,
It is what it is. At the end of the day, he got there and did it. So, and now he's, $20 million richer. So,
Absolutely. Thank you very much for your comments so far, guys. Brilliant. Really good.
Keep them coming.
Moving on, we are going into boxing and a UK event from the weekend. Daniel Dubois back in the ring after a loss to Joe Joyce last year with an explosive second-round KO of Bogdan Dinu. Dinu had only lost 2 fights prior to Jarrell Miller and Pulev as well. So, yes, Dubois back in the win column. Shane McGuigan is now training him. It was a bit too soon to change him totally, but he says leading into other fights, he will try and change his style. I think from a defensive aspect, they're going to be looking into that. But perfect behind the jab early on in this one. He's known for his jab and a great performance. I thought Bogdan Dinu was going to be quite tough for him. I thought it might have gone a bit further, if anything. The old veteran, type of guy, but absolutely explosive. Just a beautiful performance, lovely KO, and he's back in the win column, Chris, and he's the WBA interim champion now. So he's back trying to contend at the top end now. Fingers crossed. And he's only 23. The lad's only 23.
That's still young, isn't it?
Yeah, he's absolutely. What did you think?
Listen, I thought in the first round he needed to relax a bit. I thought he was throwing a bit wild. I'm not talking haymakers, I'm not talking windmilling, but I thought it was a bit wild. Just need to relax, and maybe just sit down on some punches. I thought his body work was absolutely great because I thought he was going to the body really heavily, but I think he was looking for that knockout punch, wasn't he? Quite over and over again. He got it in the second round, and what a beautiful right hook that was, because he went to one side and then came over, didn't he? Cleared Bogdan out. I'm really happy for him. He did. He lost his fight against Joel Joyce by a knockout, so it's nice to come back in.
Absolutely,
get one for yourself.
And 1,000 people at the Telford International Centre. It was fantastic.
Yeah, you could hear that.
Superb. It was really good. Great night of boxing. Also, his sister Caroline has qualified for the Olympics in Tokyo 2020. Daniel Dubois' sister. So, nice. I just thought I'd get that one in. But back in the win column, let's see what Shane McGuigan can do with him, if they can make him a bit, take his flaws out of his game. As I say, he's only 23. And I noticed as well, Frank Bruno put a tweet up before. Frank Bruno's a big fan of him. There's been a lot of likenesses saying he's like Frank Bruno. So, hopefully going forward, he can get back up into the title picture. And we look forward to seeing who he gets next. Also, Tommy Fury was on the undercard in a 4-rounder. He beat Jordan Grant. It was quite game, actually. They said afterwards, Big John Fury said, he was a good opponent for him. It was 40-36 on the cards to Tommy. But there's been some other stuff going on outside. He's called out Jake Paul. We know he's taking on Tyron Woodley in August, Chris. But that's who he wants, I think. I think he wants to shut Jake Paul up. Well, what are your thoughts on this?
Oh, just get on with your boxing, mate. I'm not going to be horrible to Tommy Fury, but Jake Paul's in ascendancy at the moment. I think Jake Paul isn't going to get money out of Tommy Fury. I know what you're thinking as a purist now is he'd get a boxing fight from Tommy Fury, and I totally agree. But I've got to look at Jake Paul's side of things here. Is he's just signed a big deal with Showtime. He's facing Tyron Woodley, and that's the money. He's not going to take a fight with Tommy Fury because there's no money in it whatsoever. I'd like to see it because I think Tommy Fury would give him an ass kicking, but I just can't see it. I can't see it happening. And they're asking him to go on Tyson Fury's card with Wilder as well. He's not going to be able to do that fight and then face Tyron Woodley at the end of August.
It'd have to be after. Like as you say, he probably holds the cards now, doesn't he? With his deal with
he holds the cards. Of course, he does hold the cards.
But they're looking at the Furies are probably looking about how much money they can make as well. It's as much about money making it as that they want the fight, isn't it? Let's not beat around. Let's not beat around the bush here. They're calling him a shithouse and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, there's money there, isn't there? It pains me to say that as well. Pains me to say it.
Yes, but that is where Jake Paul is at the moment. If Jake Paul lost to Ben Askren, then maybe you probably would have got this fight. But because he's beat Ben Askren, everybody wants to fight him. He's not going to look at someone else who's got big name and money to Tommy Fury. It's
the caliber of people. Obviously, Woodley and Askren MMA, but they're known, aren't they? They're more well known, which is I'd take your point. But yeah, a fantastic evening on Saturday from BT Sport, as I say, from the Telford International Centre. Great having fans in. They were raucous for 1,000 people being in there. Absolutely fantastic. And we look forward to future cards from Frank Warren and the team at Queensberry Promotions. Going back to last night's undercard, stablemate and Mayweather Promotions fighter Badou Jack absolutely obliterates late opponent who came in because I've lost my train of thought here. John Pascal failed a drugs test. He was meant to be fighting for the WBA title at light heavyweight. And Dervin Kalina came in. He stepped into the breach, but it was just an absolute mismatch, Chris. An absolute mismatch. Put him down how many times?
And how many points did he have taken off him as well, though?
Constantly holding. Constantly.
I don't get this fight, mate. And the whole event was bloody weird. This fight was just as bad as flipping Logan and Floyd.
Badou Jack's a 2-weight world champion.
Yeah, but he's fighting but he's fighting some guy from Venezuela that looks like he's been fighting under a bridge.
How is he 15-0? That's prior he's 15-1 now. That was what was running through my mind.
He's probably beating up teenagers under a bridge in Venezuela. It's a caliber of opponent, isn't it? And then you come against them on the standard of Badou Jack, and it's there for all to see, isn't it? Levels, as we document quite a lot. Levels. But at the end of the day, he's come in, he's stepped into the breach. I want to see Badou Jack versus Jean Pascal again for the second time. It was a split decision, the first fight, so hopefully we can get that made. But I don't know the ramifications with him failing this drugs test, how long he'll be out. Right. Drugs are bad, Stuart.
That's it you say about these cocktails, Chris.
Yeah, these pesky cocktails, you know what I mean? Fight fair or don't fight at all. I think just before we get into my betting tips, do you want to take some more comments? We've got a few lined up.
Throw them up, Chris.
I think Rich might, if he's here. There we
go.
There
he is, Isaac. Hi, lads. Epic show as always. Cheers, Isaac. Nice one, mate. Quite a quick turnaround for us. Thursday to Monday. It's my shifts in work. So, yeah, we're back at it again today. Thank you for watching, mate. Appreciate it. Albert Barlow. Diaz wins by submission in the second round. Chris's eyebrows gone up there.
But he obviously didn't listen to the breakdown before then, did he not?
Polls apart on that one, you two. Elsa Kano, Stu, have you watched the Bret Hart bio yet? What did you think of it? Elsa, he's my favourite wrestler of all time. I harp on about this on the podcast all the time, on Stu's Wrestling Podcast. When people ask me, wrestlers ask me all the time. It was the best one yet. I'm probably going to be partial because he's my favourite, but I do think of all the A&E docs, it's the best one. Chris, you need to watch it. You know, they covered a lot of stuff that we've already. They covered a lot of stuff that we've already, been spoken about. But one of his sisters, you don't hear from as much. She was interviewed, and his first wife, Julie, as well. Julie did a lot. I thought they were strange, but to be fair, she came on and she gave good insight on Bret. But yeah, don't want to make it about Bret Hart wrestling too much. Albert Barlow, Nate Diaz loses. I will drink a Rolling Rock on the Art of Party. Rolling Rock, come on, man. Yeah. Come on, man.
I know.
That's a weak percentage, the old ABV in that, Albie. Romel Panseals, Floyd almost KO Paul in the round.
I said to you before.
And Floyd assisted him to recover. Yeah.
I said to you before.
He just helped him on his way to see him through to the
He held him by his elbow because his face came down, and he pushed him back up again. Rob's seen it as well as I've seen it. I saw that too. Yeah. It saved him from falling.
Absolutely. And yeah, I think that's all our comments up to now. And now we've got a special feature. It's back. Chris's betting tips of the weekend, and you're going to give a 3 fights for us. Obviously, Adesanya versus Vettori, the second fight between them two. Our native fighter, Leon Edwards versus Nate Diaz at welterweight, and Davison Figueiredo versus Brandon Moreno, 2 for the flyweight title. So two title fights on this weekend's card, which is fantastic. A stellar card, might I add. Chris, give your tips.
Well, I'll start with Adesanya. Nothing flashy in this one, actually. I've gone through. As you can see, the American bets at the moment going on. I think that Adesanya and Vettori one's really close. Brandon Moreno, Figueiredo's really close.
The wider one there is Edwards and Diaz. That's on US odds. I do kind of know where they're going with that. And then here's the UK. This is how we do our betting over in the UK. So 4-11 Figueiredo against Brandon Moreno, who's 2-1. So that's basically what you were saying, Chris. He's going to beat him this time, isn't he? That seems to be what the bettors are going with. Leon Edwards at 1-5. Nate Diaz 10-3. Very wide that one, which is like you said, Chris. And then we've got the main event here. Israel Adesanya at 4-11 and Marvin Vettori at 2-1. So yeah, it seems unanimous really across the betting community who's going to come out on top in them 3 fights. What do you think, Chris? Just to summarize. For Izzy and Vettori, I've gone for a straight unanimous decision. I do feel like Adesanya is going to come out, and go for it. I don't think Vettori is an easy fighter to finish. I think it's a case if you'll control the fight, and beat him up. But I think it'll be a UD win for Adesanya. That's my tip for you. Is if you're going to bet, I'd go for unanimous decision. As a whole. Before I forget, please gamble responsibly. Now on to the other two. On to the other two is like, don't start betting hundreds of pounds if you haven't got it. we don't want Chris having the bailiffs knocking on your door.
People are outside with pitchforks.
Just bet responsibly, please.
Just throw a couple of quid on. You don't have to do massive bets.
You don't need to go bananas. You don't. That's true. That's very true.
Right. So we'll go to Leon Edwards versus Nate Diaz. As I said before, I've got a TKO, but I've gone between round 3 and 4. I don't think this fight's going to go the whole hog. I just think Leon Edwards is going to smash him. I feel Leon Edwards is in the ascendancy. Nate Diaz is, as you say, respectful. Love Nate Diaz, but it's Leon Edwards' time, and he needs to put a stamper on this if he wants that fight against Usman.
Davison Figueiredo and Brandon Moreno for their second bout after a draw last December, Chris.
I've gone for round 4 TKO for Figueiredo.
You're going for it on these, aren't you? You're being very specific. No, great. I love it. Absolutely. And that was, as you said, that should have been fight of the year last year.
Yes, it should have been.
So
the good fight.
They can do the same one. They're going to go on. They're just going to trade, aren't they? They're going to go for it.
But that's what you want. That's what you want to see. After seeing Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather, I want to get into this fight this weekend. And I want to see some fights, but I know we'll get some fights because a lot of the fights that are put together on this card this weekend at UFC 263 are absolutely banging. So if you don't stay up, watch it the next day, turn your internet off, hide awaiting results, and just spend your Sunday watching some absolute belders.
Please gamble responsibly. Again, just going to reiterate that. Yes. And that was the return of Chris's betting tips. And you've had 3 fights there as well. You wanted to do the 3 fights.
Yeah.
There you go. Chris' advice, put a couple of quid on, put a couple of dollars on if you've got it. Brady Barlow, friend of ours for many years. Do you think Jake or Logan Paul would fight Canelo? It's not a good idea.
No.
It's not a good idea. He'd absolutely, it'd be savage, wouldn't it? It wouldn't go for an exhibition. I can't see it. I said to you before, didn't I, on Facebook, that Jake Paul called out Canelo, didn't he? And he said to him, "You don't make a lot of money on pay-per-view buys, and I'd smash you." Those were his words to Canelo. I haven't seen a response. But yeah, you're playing with fire there, Jake. Playing with fire. Look what happened to Billy Joe. Look at the state of his skull, off the back of some of them punches. It's just like, Brett Thomas, I don't mind you, Stu, as you do chat with me, just tell me straight at least. Chris Eubank needs a smacking after his comments. Put Eubank in the octagon against Paul or boxing ring. I've not heard too much on Chris Eubank. I'm assuming he means Chris Eubank Jr. It can't be senior.
No, doubt it. I haven't heard anything on that, actually.
Eubank's not going to get in the octagon, Brett, I don't think. To be honest with you, he's going to want it. He's won it in the boxing ring if it ever was to happen. Everyone's names are getting thrown about. People, make a comment. I still think Cormier needs to get his hands on him in the cage and just absolutely go. Yeah, I know. It's absolutely amazing. Thank you very much to everyone for your comments again this week.
You're really good as always.
You're the fuel for the show, you Powered4.tv Ultras. We appreciate all the comments this week. Chris, where can the viewers find you?
Well, they can find me on Twitter at Bandhume. They can find me at Instagram at Bandhume86. They can find me on Facebook on Powered4's Big Fight Weekly page. And also, this week, they can find me, Chili Willy, Rommel, doing a watch-along for UFC 263. I plan it's still it will go up at some point on all the platforms, so you know what time. The plan is to start it from the main card because it's just a long, it's a long stretch to do a watch along. And it'll be my first one with the guys properly. So the plan is at 3 o'clock in the morning UK time. We're going to try to start it from there and go from there. And I think also you'll be able to find me sneakily jumping on Art of Partying for a bit before I have a kit before going and doing a watch along. So that's where you'll find me this weekend. A very busy weekend for you, mate. And I look forward to the watch along. With Rommel and Chili. Absolutely. I have got an episode dropping for Stu's Wrestling Podcast this week. It is Allan Funk, aka Kiwi from WCW, All Japan, TNA. He wrestled all over the world on the independent scene. Great story. Fantastic episode that is dropping this week. I want to say a big thank you to Rich and John, as always, from Power4 TV for all the support. Please, if you're into wrestling and all that good stuff, please subscribe to the on-demand service. They've got so much to offer over there. You'll absolutely, it's fantastic. It's just amazing what they offer. So yeah, and you can always rewatch us on there as well because we're there too.
Absolutely. If you want a bit of combat sports, So thank you, Rich and John, as always, for all the support. We both appreciate it so much. And we will see you. We will see you. This has been episode 16. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.